From the third coat, or as they say in Ireland, the third coat. Now, just want to make a quick video about how to paint over MDF. So, oftentimes you see MDF used as architraves, as skirtings. It's a terrible product, really. I mean, it's sort of it gets soggy when it gets a bit of moisture. Like, you know, if you were to mop this wooden floor regularly, or in a bathroom, you know, if you have skirtings on the floor, and you know, over time a lot of moisture sort of gets in there underneath the skirting, and the MDF will just sort of soak it up, and it will sort of get swollen, and you know, can start sort of growing mould and whatever. So it's an awful product, but cheap. So a lot of people use it. And one of the other issues, just in terms of aesthetics, is that you know, except for the sort of straight areas like this one, this bit here is straight and it's very smooth. It's sort of machined very fine. But these sort of curved areas, they're a bit rougher. So, and what happens is, once you paint it, especially if you use water-based paint, then it will make it even more rough. You know, because what happens is the water in the paint sort of makes the wood fibres to sort of stand up. It's like this, get swollen and stand up, and the little sort of hair, it will feel very hairy, like furry, when you sort of try and put your hand on it after priming it with a water-based primer. So, but you know, even sometimes, even like I used Zinsa Bin, which is a shellac-based primer, so it's not water-based. But you know, even then, it's best to do what I'm going to tell you now, which is after priming, you need to sand it smooth, right? So even if you're going to sand it smooth before priming, you're still going to sand it smooth after priming as well. Okay. And that's just the way it is. And, you know, and it's probably best not to use a water-based primer on them, but you can get away with it if you're sort of patient enough. But what happens with the water-based primers, they don't cure as quickly, so it might take a couple of days before you can sort of really sort of sand it smooth without damaging too much of the paint film, right? Whereas this stuff here, yeah, it's much easier to sand, even though I only did this yesterday. So yeah, it feels nice and smooth now after giving it a fine sand, maybe 180 grit sandpaper. Generally, I like to use wet sandpaper to minimise dust. And you know, once it's primed, you can put a bit of moisture on it. It won't really hurt it too much, because most of the wood fibres are already locked down. It's only the ones that are sort of sticking out that you want to get rid of and smooth off. So yeah, that's just a quick tip about how to paint it. And then, you know, once you've sort of sanded smooth after priming, then you won't need to sand it again. You can just go over it with the two top coats, and it will stay smooth even if you use water-based top coats. So yeah, that's how I think you should paint a MDF. But even better than that, just don't use the stuff. Alright, have a nice day.